Well, hi there, Lake Grove Church. This is Pastor Mark McElraith here, and I'm here for our devotion time for March 1st. We're taking a look at the reading from the Reservoir on page 53. It's all about prayer today. You know, there's different ways to understand prayer, to different ways to kind of conceive of what prayer is all about. And what I like about the devotion for today is it talks about how prayer, it holds the perspective of prayer as being in union with God. Yes, we do make requests of God, but in prayer, God also then makes requests of us, as a matter of fact. Listen to this verse. This is John 5, verse 19. It says this: Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing on his own, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise." You see, when we relinquish ourselves to God in prayer, giving ourselves over to God in prayer, we give God our requests and our worries and our hopes and our longings, but then God takes those requests into himself, and then he gives us his heart, unifying us in purpose. I really like what Richard Foster says about that. I'm reading this out of his quote out of our reading today. He says this: "Today the heart of God is an open wound of love. He aches over our distance and preoccupation. He mourns that we do not draw near to him. He grieves that we have forgotten him. He weeps over our obsession with muchness and manyness. He longs for our presence. And he is inviting you and me to come home. To come home to where we belong, to come home to that for which we were created. His arms are stretched out wide to receive us. His heart is enlarged to take us in." What I love about those words from Richard Foster describing love is the echo, or describing prayer, is the echo of love throughout that text. How prayer is very much like love. How appropriate that is. That description is an act of love. When you love someone, you want to be with that person. You want to talk with that person all the time. You want to spend your time with that person. You are just so overwhelmed by the wonderfulness of this person. You want to talk with that person, let that person sweep you off your feet. You want to let that person shape who you are in love. You want to be united with that person. And that's really what prayer does for us with God, doesn't it? It unites us with God as we enjoy God, let God sweep us off our feet. That's why prayer with God is like an act of love, unifying us to God and unifying God to us, creating a unification of purpose and love and hope. I'm going to read John 5:19 one more time with that in mind. This idea that it's this reciprocal relationship, it's a unification of purpose and love. Listen to this again, John 5:19. Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing on his own, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise. For whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise." See, notice how that verse reflects this reciprocal and unifying relationship between God the Father and God the Son. And that's the divine relationship that we are invited into. That's the divine relationship that you are invited into when we are in prayers with God, that unifying, reciprocal relationship. We ask God of things and God turns around and invites us, and asking us into his involvement as well in the world and in our lives. So with that, what prayer requests specifically do you bring to God today? And as you think of those specific prayer requests, as you pray, imagine God taking those prayer requests, receiving those prayer requests, and making those prayer requests his own, maybe with some adjustments, but he will take those prayer requests in. And then listen for God's request of you. as you unify yourself with God and unify yourself with God's amazing, loving, and thrilling purposes for your life and truly His purposes for the world. So why not pause after this video and do that right now? Amen.